You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium-ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off-grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour. And backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. And if you're hitting the road in your RV this spring, you need the right apps to make your journey smoother. Today, we're sharing the must-have apps for RV travel, including the best for entertainment, boondocking, and saving money. So let's get started. All right, Kenny, we're ready to start with apps that we use that we think are pretty good and let everybody know which ones those are. And maybe there's even a couple that we don't like.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about adding ones that I don't like, Sean, but I'm sure as we're talking, I can come up with someone or some app that I don't like. And I think we're starting off with navigation and route planning. I have on here, now everybody obviously knows about Google Maps. I use Google Maps a lot for my route planning, even though I'm in a Class A motorhome, because one, it gives me an initial idea of how many miles I'm going to travel and about how far I'm going to go. I then take that information and I put it in my Garmin GPS because it is actually designed for my RV size. But at least the Google Maps gives me an idea right off the bat for when I'm planning my trip out in advance. Also, what I like about Google Maps that maybe not everybody is using this feature is that you can save locations and you can save them either as a favorite or you can even save them as a place that you want to go. I often save even just quick overnight free stops that I have found throughout the years in my favorites. So I have, I think currently I have over 200 saved places in my Google Maps that are free overnight stays across the US. And then I also, if somebody says, hey, you should check out such and such, I'll save that area in my Google Maps app under places that I would like to go.
Yeah, I have the Garmin Drive app that I use, and that I plan my route through that, and then it automatically transfers to my Garmin RV GPS, which is nice. So then it's already, when I get in the vehicle, the route's already saved on the GPS. So that's the way I do it. I do look at Google Maps, especially when we're driving, like to compare the traffic situation, like if the Garmin's not, to see if the Garmin's accurate or not with what the traffic's going on, because I find that Google Maps has really accurate traffic predictions, I guess is what it is. It's just using AI, I guess, to do the predictions of how much traffic it is. One thing I will say about all navigation apps, though, is I mean, I've used them all: Copilot, Google Maps, RV Life. I've used them all. And in every case, except for the Garmin so far, of course, I haven't had it very long, but in every case, it has not been accurate with the low overpasses. I've always had to turn around at least once
Wow,
at a
that's not
low
great.
overpass. Yeah.
I've got like 150,000 miles on my Garmin, and I don't think I've ever had to turn around because of a low bridge, but it has sometimes has sent me, it'll say like my destination is on the left and it's actually on the right, which isn't a huge deal. And I think there was one time or twice that it kind of sent us down a road that we couldn't really, not that we couldn't fit, it was like a neighborhood, and then we couldn't find a way to drive all the way and turn around. So we had to disconnect and back out. But it's never sent us down a road with an improper clearance.
Yeah, it's happened to me on every app I've tried except
Wow.
for the Garmin so far. So I guess the point is all these apps are great at what they do, but don't rely on them 100%. Always use your eyes and look at the signs still to make sure everything's good because you don't want the top of your RV being in the road.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a height thing too, Sean. I think you're almost a foot taller than I am. I wonder if that's why I've had relatively good luck when it comes in that situation. I'll also add with the Google, like I like using the Google for my route planning also because like something like I did with the Route 66 trip, I could take a look at those museums, look at the reviews, see what people had to say about things. So I do like to pick up some reviews along the way too of like where we're traveling through.
Yeah, I've been using this Garmin app now for a while, and of course, on your Garmin too, if you have a Garmin like the one I have, I'm sure it's like yours. It has all the national parks. It has
Hmm.
a lot of the sightseeing stuff. It has all the gas stations. So yeah, I mostly just rely on Google Maps for traffic now.
Okay. Yeah, and the Garmin does a great job too with that heads up display, letting you know where the next rest area is coming up, when the next gas station is coming up. Whatever you want to put in there, you can actually keep up to 3 things at a time. So you could even set it for Cracker Barrels. I don't just keep on telling you when the next Cracker Barrel is coming up, only along your route too. It's filtering out anything that you wouldn't have to drive out of your way for, which
Yeah.
is really nice. I use that feature a lot.
So I guess next we'll go to camping and overnight parking finder. One that I use, that we use a lot when we're out on the road is the Harvest Host app. It's a really good app, a fantastic app, actually. We use that to find Harvest Host locations, especially if we're like doing overnight long distance travel where it's going to be a few days. Sometimes we just stop at a Harvest Host instead of finding a campground, and that app works really good on the go as well. So that's a good one that we use.
I use quite a few, and I think you use quite a few too. iOverlander is new to me. I just started using iOverlander probably in the last 6 months, and I wish I would have found it sooner. iOverlander has been great for me to kind of put me at ease. I know whenever Sabrina and I try to dry camp or boondock, we get to a spot and we've always thought to ourselves, how do we really know this is a not a good spot as far as camping wise, but a good spot like that we are allowed to be in. And iOverlander does a great job of really pinpointing the locations of where you're allowed to stay overnight for free, whether that be in the national parks or in a state forest or anywhere along the side of the road. And people can leave reviews about their stay there. They'll even leave reviews if maybe it wasn't an okay spot. Like maybe somebody came and said, "Look, it you just got to look at the most recent reviews, but it might say, I just stayed here last night. I did get a knock on the door, and I was asked to move." But that iOverlander has been great for me to just peace of mind that when I do set up camp somewhere that I'm actually in a allowed area to be camping for the night. Because dry camping and boondocking, like when you see vehicles parked all over in the desert, especially like you're out in Arizona, I'm always like, oh, am I 100% sure this is public land and I'm not on somebody's private property? And is this really okay to be in? But iOverland kind of has taken that fear out of it. And I wish I would have found it sooner, even though I heard people talk about it for years. I was just slow to get on the bandwagon of it, and it's free. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a free app too.
it's a free app. People leave reviews. You can bring up the map and a satellite view, and you see exactly what the site looks like before you get there. People even will leave reviews of their size of their vehicle, so you know if you can fit before you arrive. It's a really good app, and I wish I would have started using it sooner.
Yeah, and I think you also use RV Parky, right?
Yep,
I
I use
know
RV
Julie
Park.
uses that one a lot.
Yeah, I like that one. It's very similar to iLoferlander, but the nice thing with the RV Parky is I feel like this is how I use it anyway. I use RV Parky for some of the more that are less traditional campsites, like the Walmarts, the casinos, the Flying J's. They leave you reviews, the Cracker Barrels, and I can go on and find a review. The person will say, "Hey, I went in, talked to the manager at Cracker Barrel. They said A-okay to stay overnight," or I went into the Walmart, and people leave reviews saying whether or not they were able to stay at a place or if they got kicked out of a place. So I like RV Parky for when I'm driving through like cities and towns and stuff like that. And then I use the iOverlander mostly for like boondocking and dry camping.
And have you ever used Campendium? I know we used to use that, but haven't used it in a while. And we have the premium version, so I don't know how the free version is, but it also shows boondocking locations and public lands.
Mm.
And there's reviews. And the thing I liked about Campendium was they showed you when you leave a review, it shows you like which cell service the person had and how
Oh,
many bars they had. So that
that's
was really
nice.
good to know, especially if you needed to be connected. It would show you that, so you knew if you would get cell signal or not.
No, I've never used it, but I like the idea of knowing the cell service signal because that's really important when you're working from the road.
Yeah,
I guess it's important too when you want to stream movies also, but
yeah.
even more important when you're trying to get some work done. Yeah, the only other two apps that I really use for overnight stays is KOA and our Passport America app. The KOA app is the only way we book our campgrounds now with KOA. We don't even go to the website. We never call. Every campground we just book right through their app. It's like super fast and super easy. We even use it to find KOAs like along our route. You just put in like where you're going and it'll pop up. Passport America, same thing. I just use that to find the Passport Americas along our route to get the ratings of that campground. And then it also gives you ideas of what the blackout dates are for those stays. So Sabrina, I try to mainly stay at either KOAs or a participating Passport America for our campgrounds.
Yeah, and one that I've never used, but I saw it when I was searching earlier for this episode. It's called U.S. Public Lands, and it's $2.99 to purchase the app, but it shows all the. It sounds a lot like iOverlander. It shows all the federal land boundaries and where
Wow.
you can park legally for free there.
Okay.
And it also covers BLM, national forests, other public lands. It's good for boondocking, but it sounds a lot like what iOverlander does for free.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know how iOverlander makes any money because I can't remember ever even seeing an ad on iOverlander. So I don't even know how they're generating any type of revenue at all. And the app works great. I've never, in the 6 months I've been using it, I love it, and I don't have any issues with it. I don't even know how they're making money off that thing.
So speaking of iOverlander, we can jump to the next topic, which is dump stations and water
Mm,
fill-ups. And iOverlander shows you
yep.
water stations and dump stations as well, right?
Yeah, and you can filter all that stuff out on the iOverlander app, which I really like a lot. So you can say, I only want to look for a spot that has a dump station. Or you can just say, I only want to look for like a conventional dry camping spot. So yeah, it allows you to have a lot of filters. I believe iOverlander will even filter in like the Camping World dump stations and RV park dump stations. So the rest area dump stations. I have nothing but good things to say about that iOverlander app. I'm even bringing it up right now on my phone as we speak because I'm curious to see if I see an ad and I don't. I just brought it up and there's no ad. I just don't know how they're making any money. But yeah, you can even look for on iOverlander wild camping, hotels, fuel stations, propane stations, water, sanitation, dump stations, short term parking. You can look for restaurants. It does more than what I use it for. But like I said, I use RV Parky for the commercial stuff, and then I use iOverlander for everything else.
Yeah, there's another dump station one that I messed around with. It's called Sandy Dumps,
Mm.
and it's dump stations, and it tells you if it's at a campground or like a Flying J or a gas station of some type or a city park or whatever. And it also will tell you if there's a cost associated with it.
Oh,
It also has some reviews. If people have used it and left reviews, you can read reviews, and you can also pull it up on your computer. It's not just a phone app, it's also a website, which makes it a little bit easier to see a larger area if you're looking for a dump station.
is the Sandy Dump app, is that one free or is there a fee?
It's free.
Oh, that's free too. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of these free apps. I don't know how these how these app manufacturers do it.
They also list water on there too if the place has
Mm.
water, so you can dump and fill.
And sometimes that can be just as hard to find as good potable water.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's a great feature. And then I think we're moving on to pet apps. I have two. One is Waggle. The other one is Tempstick. They work similar, but they are also very different. So the Waggle has its own Verizon service, I guess you could say, built into the system. So as long as you're in an area that has Verizon, then your Waggle will work. And the way I use that Waggle is we leave it inside the RV in the summertime. And when Belle's left alone, which isn't often, but when it happens, if Belle's left alone in the RV, then the Waggle will alert us at a set temperature, whatever you program it to say, hey, it's warming up in your RV. You better get back and check on Belle. We also use it in the wintertime. And the way we use it in the wintertime is that we put it down in our water bays and use it as an alarm in case our water bays start to drop down to freezing temperatures. We purchased the yearly plan because we do use it year round, but they also offer a 3-month plan, I think a 6-month plan, or a yearly plan. They might even offer more than a yearly plan, but we always do just 1 year at a time. The temp stick will also send alerts, same as the Waggle, to your phone or through an email. And the temp stick has no yearly plan, 6-month plan, or no monthly plan, because what the temp stick is doing is it's connecting to your hotspot or whatever your Wi-Fi service is inside the RV. So that's the nice thing about temp stick. There is no service plan, and that's nice. And I use that the same way. So I'm using the temp stick inside the RV. I just like having redundancy when it comes to Belle. So we're using a temp stick in the RV for Belle to make sure that she's staying cool. And then we're using the temp stick down in the water bays to make sure that nothing is freezing.
Yeah, we use temp stick too. I like it. It's easy,
Hmm.
very easy. And like you said, you just have to have a hotspot or some way to connect it. But after that, it'll notify you pretty quickly when the temperature changes.
Yeah, and once it goes past, both of them will do this. Once it goes over the limit that you have set, it starts to monitor more often. Because I think when it's just in its like normal status, you set it for an hour, maybe you ask it to check every 30 minutes. But once that status is triggered, then it's checking every 10 minutes. So they're both really great. I don't have any complaints about either one of them. If you're just going to choose one, maybe the temp stick, because it is no service fee, no monthly, no quarterly, no yearly. The temp stick is you've just purchased the device one time and that's it, and then it's over.
I guess we can move to fuel savings.
Mm.
And one app that I use all the time when we travel or even when I'm at home is Gas Buddy. And that is really easy to use, and you can find the cheapest prices on your route and can filter by diesel, regular gas, or premium. If you join their program, you can even get more fuel savings. I just use the free version. I don't join the program. A few years ago when we were in Tucson, I think I saved like 30 cents a gallon just by
Oh.
driving an extra mile or two after seeing on the Gas Buddy app for diesel. So it's well worth checking that app, and it's pretty up to date. Like if the price changes, somebody will put it in and update it. So it's kind of like a consumer driven app, I guess.
Mm.
So if you're there and the prices change, you can enter what you paid and it'll update the app. So it's a really good app. I use it a lot.
I'm downloading that one as we speak, Sean, because the great thing about that Gas Buddy that I'm thinking about as you're speaking is like I know the best gas prices usually in my own town, but as we travel across the country, you have no idea. And you like you said, by driving just half a mile, you might find something 15, 20, 30 cents cheaper. And that's not only great for the RV, but even like when you arrive in town and you disconnect with either your tow car or your tow vehicle, and now maybe you're spending a week in that town. Yeah, I'm downloading that app right now. So I am sure there have been times that I have been spending more than I need to on gas because you just don't know the town that you're in or the best spots to pick up that gas from.
Yeah, it's probably my top app for saving money while RVing is Gas Buddy.
Yeah, it's got to add up. I mean, gas is probably, geez, what do you think? Well, for me anyway, gas is my highest expense in RV. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
it's all the cross country drives I do in a vehicle that only gets 7.5 miles per gallon. It's my largest expense when it comes to RVing, other than the RV itself. But I bet you, Sean, it wouldn't be too doubtful that in the last 9 years that we have probably spent just as much in fuel as we have for our RV itself. Sabrina is pretty good about keeping track of everything. I wonder if she's got those numbers of how much money we have spent on fuel for the motor. Oh,
It adds up fast.
it does add up really fast. I mean, we got an 80-gallon tank. I could do the math, actually. I could just take my miles, how many miles we've driven. I could just average at 250, which is kind of low, and see what that comes up to be. I'm going to do that, and I'll put it in the show notes what that equals. So if you guys are listening and you're interested in how much money I have spent in my RV, averaging at 250 a gallon, I'm going to have it in my show notes of how much money we spent on fuel.
It's definitely more than the cost of the RV.
You think it is? Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous to
Yeah.
see what that number is. I won't tell Sabrina what it is.
The other app that we use, and it's a program, and if you go back and listen to our episode that we had previously, one that we use for fuel is TSD Open Roads, and they have an app, and they claim you can save up to $1 per gallon. I've never saved that much, but it works well. But it is a program that you have to join, and you have to link your bank account to their card. So a lot of people might be a little bit afraid of it, but it's for diesels only. And so if you have the TSD logistics, it will save you money, and their app will show you where on your trip, where in your area they are, so you can go there and fill up and save a few bucks.
Do you know how much the largest amount that you've ever saved at a pump was, Sean, as far as like per gallon?
It was between 25 and 30 cents per gallon, I think.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's actually more than that, but to pay for the program, that's how TSD makes money, is they take some of that savings for themselves. So there's
Okay.
no fee to join it. They're collecting the fee when you fill up.
I didn't know it was free to join.
Yeah, it's free.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. The only thing I'm using for fuel apps is a Pilot app and the Loves app. Currently, right now, I know Loves is running a special. If you have their app and you scan their barcode, you're getting 15 cents off per gallon on gasoline, and I think maybe more on diesel. But it might be the same. I'm not 100% sure because I don't have diesel, but I know I'm getting about 15 cents off. And then Pilot with their app is usually around 5 cents, and sometimes they run a special too. The other thing that I like about those apps, like the Pilot app, I use often for, I don't know what happens when I get in the RV, but I get very thirsty and I get very snacky while I'm driving. And the Pilot app is always running like a buy one, get one free, whatever it might be. It might be a Gatorade, it might be an apple juice. They are constantly running buy one, get ones, or buy one salad and get a side of fruit for free. So they're all snacks, everything. So I like that app, the Pilot app, just for all the free, I'm putting quotes, free snacks and free drinks that I'm collecting. But I also use the app. It'll tell you before you arrive at the Pilot, do they have an RV lane? It'll tell you if they have propane or the sanitation dump, how many RV lanes it has for like an overnight stay. And you can find out what restaurant is attached to, if it's a Flying J, what restaurant is attached to it, because it's either going to be a Denny's. I can't remember the other two. I'm drawing a blank. I can picture their logos, but I can't remember. If anybody knows, leave them down in the comments. What the other two restaurants are that are sometimes attached to a Flying J. I'm drawing a blank. It's Flying J. I mean, it's Denny's. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
I like the Flying J app for the discounts, the
Mm.
in the store discounts. Like you
Yeah.
said, we use that a lot. And then also we use it to see if they have RV lanes or if we have to go to the truck lanes.
I've always been intimidated by that, Sean. When you first started RVing and you had to go through a truck lane, did you feel any type of intimidation? any of the truckers give you dirty looks for going into their lane? No problem at all.
No, in fact, they like getting behind you because they know you're gonna be faster than, any of the trucks, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I guess the truckers, I've seen this often actually, where the truckers will stop, they fill up, and then they always go in the store. They never finish their, well, I guess it takes forever for them to fill up, so maybe that's why they have the time. But yeah, they always just start and then walk away.
Yeah, you have to know the etiquette when you're in your RV at those truck lanes because when you wait and then when you're because it's so quick compared to one of those big trucks, wait and then pull forward. They
Mm.
always have a line, like a pull forward line, pull up to that line, and then the person behind you can start filling up while you run inside.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's a good tip. That's
Yeah.
yeah. So
They'll
the
get
other,
pissed if you leave your vehicle there, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Well,
Time
they're
is money
working,
for
and
them.
yep,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. They're all working, and they got somewhere to be. The two other restaurants I was thinking of that are attached to Flying J's is Huddle Huddle House, or it could be an IHOP. So they're the three that I've seen: IHOPs, Huddle Houses, or Denny's. And
Mm.
I wouldn't say I really have a favorite out of all of them. Cracker Barrel's my favorite, but that's not they're not part of the the uh, the team there.
Then I guess we can move on to any weather apps that we use. And I use just the Apple weather, but Julie uses the Weather Channel app, and she's always getting alerts wherever we're traveling, like if there's bad weather. And the nice thing about that compared to the plain old Apple weather app that I use is that you can also see the radar. So you can see how long maybe a storm's going to last or when it's going to hit if it's looking pretty bad in front of you. So it's a really good app. She uses it a lot and keeps me posted when I'm driving. So
Yeah, Sabrina controls our weather app. Also, she uses AccuWeather. She likes it for the same reason that it kind of gives a weather warning. I know sometimes though it'll give us weather warnings for places that we're not in anymore. So I guess maybe you're supposed to go in and update. I thought it would just kind of update on its own, but I know that Sabrina will be like, we'll be in Arizona and she's like, "Oh, a storm's about to hit Iowa or Forest City, Iowa." I was like, "How do you know?" She's like, "I'm getting an alert." So if you do use AccuWeather, you might want to take a look and see if there's something that will automatically update your location. Otherwise, it may think that you're in areas that you're not in anymore. She also uses the Apple app just like Sean does. But definitely recommend finding the weather some way that you travel because you don't want to get caught up in a storm in your RV.
all right, I guess we can move on now, Kenny, to connectivity on the road. And I think one app that I'm sure you use it too all the time is the speed test app. That's like a must-have if you're traveling to see what your speeds are and if you can watch entertainment online
hmm
or what the deal or upload videos or anything like that.
Yeah, and we use it also because we have so many different devices. So we travel with a Starlink. We have AT&T. We also have Verizon. So we'll do a speed test on all three of them, and whichever one is the strongest in that area is the service that we'll go with. And people listening might think that it's always Starlink is the strongest, and it's not. I will say Starlink is almost always the strongest for the download, but there's sometimes, or actually quite often, the slowest for the upload. So depending on what you're doing, if we were just sitting and streaming, then we would probably go with Starlink. But if we needed to upload something for work, then we're probably going to use one of our hotspots, either the Verizon, the AT&T, or even the T-Mobile. We have all three of them too. So you'd be surprised how much that varies throughout the country. You certainly can't go by their maps. Like you can't go by a Verizon map or a AT&T map because they all claim to be the most covered.
Yeah.
Just measure it differently. So
It's the same map, they just use a different color.
yeah, you got to be aware of that and definitely use the speed testing to find out, which one's going to work best for you for that day, that week. Maybe some people stay at a place or a month even. I know there's an app that Sean and I both also like, and that's our Victron apps. Sean and I have talked about this in the past, that it's a little bit of an addictive app in the sense that we use it to, monitor our battery health, measure our solar panel performance, and it even gives you like a history report. So if you were somewhere for a week, it would tell you you could go back 3 days and 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, and see which days did you bring in the most solar. I'm totally addicted to that app. I really like watching numbers apparently change, but I'm always curious too. And it's helped me figure out the best way to position my RV for sun. So I know the way that my panels are set up, and from looking at history and things like that, that my RV does the best when I'm faced in my RV with the back towards sunrise. No, I'm sorry. I'm backwards. When the back of the RV is faced towards sunset, I get the best numbers. It also keeps my RV the coolest in the summertime because I got that giant windshield up front.
I haven't got into that much detail yet with like actually tracking it. I just like to watch it go up and down with how much solar we're getting and how I use it a lot to see how my batteries are for sure. Definitely good to have an app that looks at your power system to see how you're doing.
Yeah, and the Victron works really well. I've never had a problem with the Victron. It connects relatively easy, and you can have what I like about it is you can have multiple components all on the same screen, so you can measure different things all at once. You can measure your inverter. I can see how much power is coming out of my inverter. So if Sabrina and I are cooking and we got a microwave running and an air fryer, or maybe a tea kettle, I can take a look and see how much power that's using, and I know my inverter shouldn't go really over 3,000. It's capable of, but I try to keep it under 3,000. So if I see it's pulling too much, I might turn my tea kettle off and wait. So yeah, I really like that Victron app a lot. The other thing I use a lot, more than I thought I would, is our Micro Air Easy Touch app. That is controlling our thermostat. So we have like a smart thermostat in our RV. It's called the Micro Air Easy Touch thermostat, and I have an app with it. So like you can program it throughout the week if you're staying in one place long enough. You can program so that your heat and your AC is turning on certain times throughout the day. But so even like right now, sitting in the office, I'm not in my RV currently. It's out in the backyard. I could bring up the app and I can see what the temperature is in the RV, and I can adjust the temperature. That's something that's great for going back to like trying to protect Bell in the RV. If the waggle or the temp stick was telling us that, hey, it's getting hot in your RV, I can bring it up on our Micro Air Easy Touch app as well to see what that temperature actually is. It'll even tell me if the air conditioner is running. So I can do a quick diagnosis and say to Sabrina, hey, it's getting hot in the RV and the AC is not even on anymore. There must be a problem back at the campground, or a problem with our system. Something's going on. We're not even getting AC. Or I can take a look and it'll say, maybe the AC is running, but it's just getting too hot. I also like it in the morning, like when we first wake up. If it feels a little chilly in the RV, I can pick up my phone, turn the heat on right from bed before I get out from underneath the covers and start warming it up. Like I said, it's one of those apps that I use more often than I thought I would.
Going back to the Victron app too, you can kind of use that if you're having a maintenance issue that could be related to that. Like if you have a short somewhere or something's drawing more power than it should, you could pick that up on the Victron app and say, "Oh yeah, this is probably the problem. This is what's taking all the power, and it shouldn't be."
Yeah, and I do one other thing with the Victron, and I'm not 100% sure if I even need to do this. I probably don't, because it's probably a smart enough system that I don't need to do this. But like when we're traveling to, say, Mexico, and we have a power hookup, it's not uncommon to have only like a 10 to 15 amp power hookup. They don't have everywhere a 30 amp RV hookup. So when I plug into something like that, I actually go into the app and let the app know that I am plugged into to only 15 amps or 10 amps. And then my battery just supplements the rest, and it kind of shares the responsibility. But I guess it would probably do that automatically. I guess I don't need to go in, but I like to go in and let it know in advance, hey, we're only plugged into a 10 amp power source right now. So I'm giving you a heads up. You're going to need to step in batteries. Battle-borne batteries, you don't need to step in and kind of supplement that power.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that, Kenny. I wonder if it does it automatically.
I think it probably does, but I actually learned that from you though, Sean, because you had talked about being at like a campground for extended period of time where they meter you. And
Mm.
so I've done it to the point that even though I was plugged into a 30 amp post, I've lowered it down to 15 amps so that I'm using less of their power at the end of the month for their electric bill. But it's still showing that I'm using it. I'm just not using as much. So I'm using 15 amps of their power and 15 amps of my solar and battery combination.
Yeah, when I did that, I had a separate panel that was just running off the batteries and solar. We would just use the stuff in that particular panel, like a sub panel, and not use the power coming off the pedestal.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I
Okay.
didn't have to set the app. It was more like a manual thing.
Oh, I thought you were using the app for it. Okay.
No, no.
Okay. Interesting.
So speaking of things like that, do you use any maintenance and repair apps? The only one I can think of that's like a must-have is the YouTube app.
Yeah, you're right. It is the YouTube app.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can really come think of. But yeah, anything you need to find to learn how to do the maintenance, how to fix something, it's a great how-to app. Is the YouTube app? You can literally learn everything on there. There's no way you're going to run into a problem that is not on the YouTube app. I love the YouTube app. I use it for my Jeep, for my RV. I was talking to Sean the other day. I just used it for my C-Max to find where my fuses are in the seat. I couldn't find the fuses in my C-Max. It's a great app. Yeah, you're right, Sean. That is a good
Yeah,
one.
that's an essential app because you
Yeah,
can find anything on there in terms of maintenance.
I pay the premium subscription on that because when I'm trying to figure out what's wrong or how to do something, I don't want to watch commercials throughout. So I do pay the premium for that YouTube app.
That's the one complaint I have about most YouTube videos, including my own probably, is that most of the time people don't get right to the point. They always have like this long introduction. So I usually just go forward like 30 seconds automatically, 30 seconds to a minute to get right to the fixed problem.
Yeah, I do the same. And I also often set the speed to 1.25 speed because I'm still a little impatient. And if I miss something, I just rewind and watch it again.
But I know there are other maintenance apps that you can pay for that have RV specific stuff, but I haven't found anything that I couldn't find on YouTube. I mean, I found everything I needed to on YouTube, so no need to pay at this point.
Yeah, and with so much content on YouTube, you'll find probably people that you like more than others. You can subscribe to their channel or whatever that may be, but you'll probably get somebody that is your go-to person. Like you'll check their videos first to see if they have that topic covered before you go to somebody else. Yeah, the variety that's out on the YouTube is just unbeatable.
Okay, I guess we can go to entertainment, Kenny. And I know
Yeah.
we have a few of these.
Yep, yep. And entertainment, I'm going to put my Jeep badge of honor under entertainment because I do consider my Jeep to be a toy entertainment. I do use it for more than just exploring and off-roading and fun, but I do feel like that is its main purpose is really just for entertainment and having fun. And the Jeep badge of honor, I guess I should lead in with the fact that you do have to have a Jeep to be able to register and be part of the Badge of Honor app. But all you need is your VIN. If you have your VIN number for your Jeep, you can join the app. The app is free. And what you can do is you can find what are considered Jeep trails in your area. A lot of these Jeep trails, or all of them actually, if you complete one of these Jeep trails, Jeep will actually mail you a badge right to your home, a physical hard badge that you can then either place on your Jeep, you can place them on a wall somewhere, you can turn them into dog tags. And I think it's just a fun thing that Jeep offers to Jeep owners that you can actually get like a real physical badge. I hope they keep this for a long time because I am enjoying traveling the country and picking up these badges. But the other nice thing about their app is that these are not just Jeep trails. Anybody's allowed on the trails, but to get the badge, then you have to have a Jeep. But they're also letting you know the rating of the trail. There's photos of the trail right in the app. They're letting you let people leave reviews. It's just a fun app for me as a Jeep owner to try to collect these badges. And it's good information too about the trails because everybody in that app is in a Jeep. So I can find people that have a similar build Jeep to me and see what they rated that trail. And so I'll know if I can make that trail or maybe I better bring somebody that can winch me out.
So does the app, Kenny? I know a lot of people that RV have Jeeps.
Mhm.
So does the app tell you the trails, those badge of honor trails in the area that you are?
Yes.
Or, oh, okay.
Yep. So you can go by location and it'll tell you which trails are in your area, how far they are. And then when you click on them, it'll even give you directions to the trailhead.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You can use it to look for trails that are in your area.
And then you can also, like, if you're going somewhere, you could search that way. Like,
Yeah. Yep. You can put in a location also. If you want to put in a zip code, you can also look that way as you're traveling.
and it's free.
And it's free. The badges are free. They mail you the badges for free. You only get one per VIN number. It's been a lot of fun. I've been putting all of my badges on the Jeep so far. I don't know if I'll continue to do that. I think I have about 7 on the Jeep right now, 5 on one side and 2 on the other. I don't know if I'll just keep, I don't know how many badges I really want to put on the Jeep, but at the moment I'm still going. I can easily put another 5, I would say, on the Jeep before I would be like, all right, well, maybe that's enough.
And are they just stick on?
Yeah.
They
Yep.
come with
So
an adhesive on them?
yes. Yep, they already got adhesive on them. They're actually in a two-piece system. So if you don't wanna put the 2 pieces together, you can leave them separated and it just becomes a dog tag. Or you can press it into the mount and then press the mount onto your Jeep. So I've seen some people where they'll just take, what's it called, Sean? I think paracord, and then they'll take just the tags without the mount, and they'll just put all their tags on a piece of paracord. So there's different ways that you can collect them and display them. You don't have to put them on your Jeep. You could probably even, without putting them on the mount, you could probably put them behind some type of frame and put them all up on a frame. Probably even get a big United States map and maybe put one badge for every area that you've been in. So it's a
Do they
fun.
have the name of the trail on the badge?
Yeah, it's pretty detailed. I'll put a photo of one down in the show notes. Not only does it have the name, Sean, but it gives you the name of the trail, its location, and a diagram of the trail, of what the trail looks like. So it's got a lot of detail to the badges. They're all black and silver. So it's a black backing with silver writing, and the trail is in silver. So it's not like outlandish or anything like that. It's not crazy looking, but it's pretty detailed. They're nice. When I got my first badge in the mail, I was like, I cannot believe this was free. I mean, it's free. You got to buy a Jeep, but you can buy any year Jeep. My Jeep's a 2001, so it doesn't even matter. Like, it's not just something that just the new Jeeps are doing. It's for all year Jeeps. As long as you got a VIN number and it matches up to the Jeep, it can be a Jeep Liberty, it can be a Wrangler, it can be a Cherokee, it can be a Grand Cherokee. It doesn't even have to be a Wrangler. It just has to be a Jeep.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, I didn't know that the badges would have all that detail on them.
Yeah, I'll take a photo of one of my badges and I'll put it in, or I'll take a photo of one aside, I guess, close enough that you can see some of the detail in all the badges, and then you'll see the differences between them. I think there's even like a outline of the state, and then the trail is within the state. So there's a lot of detail to these badges. They're very, very nice. They're nice enough that it's one of the reasons Sabrina like sometimes thinks about getting a Jeep. 1, she wants ducks. 2, she wants people to wave at her. And 3, she wants a couple badges of her own.
That's funny. Yeah, the ducks are popular.
Yeah, very popular. Very popular.
There's no app for that, is there?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not into the ducks too much. I know there's a Facebook group,
Oh,
so you can go on, Facebook. I think it's called Duck Duck Jeep, and join the Facebook group, and people share ducks that are being left behind on their Jeep, and then they're also sharing them, like placing the ducks on their Jeep. I have a couple ducks. I only display one duck. Friends of ours gave us a duck while we were down in Fort Wilderness, and I put that up on my dash. It's a Mickey Mouse / duck. So I was like, I'm a pretty big Disney fan. This one's going up on the dash.
One that we use, Julie and I are big readers, so we use two actually. While we're driving, we'll listen to a book on Audible usually. So
Mm.
we have an Audible membership, and that works really well when traveling. If you listen to a good book, it makes the time go by a little bit faster in boring areas. And then for while we're somewhere, we use Libby, which is an app like if you join your local community library, which is usually free because your tax dollars pay for it. They usually have an electronic version of the library, and it usually goes through Libby. And then you can check out books, electronic books through the app. And like we use a Kindle to read, but you can also read on an iPad or your regular a laptop computer or a regular computer. You can read on that using the Libby app. So it's a really good app if you like to read, and it's also free. Just your library card gets you access to it.
With that Libby app, do you download the actual book onto your phone?
You can download it onto your phone. You can download it onto any electronic device, really.
So as you're traveling, even if you were traveling through an area like on the road while you're driving and Julie's maybe reading the book, if you would hit dead spots or anything like that, you don't need to be
Right.
connected to the internet for it.
Yeah, yeah. It downloads. It
Oh, that's
downloads.
great. And it's
Yep. And
free.
then, yep. And then you can, like, I usually check them out for 2 weeks, 14 days. And then after the 14 days, you lose access to it.
Okay.
So if you're really close to finishing, you can put your device on airplane mode, and then you can keep it until you come off airplane mode. But they also have audiobooks on Libby. But I find the newer books are better on Audible. So that's why I pay for Audible. But yeah, Libby's great. It's saved us thousands of dollars every year using Libby.
Nice. Oh, that's great. Do you have to have a library membership? Maybe you mentioned that. Do you have to have a library membership in your hometown and then you can use access to Libby app, or do you not even need a membership anywhere to a library?
I think you need to be a library member.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be in your hometown necessarily. Like, I guess if you're retired military, or not sure if that just veterans that are non-retired have access, but you can join like the Air Force or Army or Navy. They have libraries as well that you could join. You don't have to
Okay.
be in a specific location for that. And then, like, I still have a library membership from the place where we used to live. I'm not sure how that works, but I do use the local library here because like I said, we read a lot, so we go to the library quite a bit. So
You guys do read a lot, like a
yeah.
ridiculous amount. I'm not much of a reader, so my entertainment app is Netflix. I like Netflix a lot. I think I know the price of it keeps on going up, but I still think they have a wider variety of movies compared to everybody else. And something like Amazon may be like a second or a major competitor of them. But what Amazon's been doing recently that I don't like is, I have a Amazon Prime membership, but they're now starting to run commercials. Netflix still has no commercials. So Netflix is my go-to choice for when it comes to like watching a TV series or a movie. And the other great thing that Netflix lets you do is download a TV show, movies up to a certain amount. You might be able to download 10 episodes or something like that, but then you're able to watch them while off grid. So as Sabrina's in the passenger and we're driving through parts of Texas or parts of Arizona where there are no signals, she's able to watch something and it's without interruption of the signal going out. I think the Netflix is still well worth the price. Like I said, I'm learning Spanish. They have a great selection of Spanish dubbing. They even have TV shows and movies that are just Spanish only that were filmed in Spanish and are meant for Spanish. So it's been really good for us, anyways. Is Netflix is our number one streaming app.
Yeah, and one tip that I just recently learned is we were, for some reason, paying for the 4K level of Netflix when we're watching it mostly on laptop computers or, the TV in the RV, which is definitely not a 4K TV. Don't waste that extra $5 and just get the 1080p version.
Yeah, that's what we have, the 1080p, and I agree. Like, even when we're watching it on our TV at home, which is a 4K TV, I think the picture quality on 1080 is just. I know it's not actually just as good, but I think it's just as good for me. I think it's perfect, and I think for traveling too, like Sean said, you might not even get that 4K download speed, but if you do, it's going to eat up more of your data. So the 1080 is going to be a little easier on your monthly data subscription if you do have limits. If you're on an unlimited plan, then of course it wouldn't work. But I don't know of too many unlimited plans that are truly unlimited to the point that you can just stream like crazy before they throttle you.
The last entertainment app that we use a lot is Apple Podcasts. So we definitely like listening to podcasts, and we highly recommend you get Apple Podcasts because we're on it. So
Hmm.
you can listen to the show while you're traveling. It's a great app. It works. It works very well, and everything's free on that too. I think unless there are some subscription-based podcasts, but most podcasts are free. So it's a great one to have, and it not just RV related stuff, but anything you can think of these days. There's a podcast or more, at least one podcast covering almost anything you want to know about.
Yeah, and I use iHeartRadio app for my podcasts, and we are also on iHeartRadio. But I also use it for Spanish podcasts to help with my learning. But I also use it for their music. I think iHeartRadio, the app, they have a lot of like 80s station. I like 80s music and 90s music, so I can find a lot of stations instead of trying to tune in my radio every different state, every different town, every different city. I can just turn on the iHeartRadio app, pick 80s station, and plays continuously without me having to keep on searching out channels.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, but I think that's all of our apps. Hopefully, some of these apps maybe you've never heard of. Maybe you've heard of them but haven't used them yet. Hopefully, they have inspired you. But we want to hear from you, of course. Is there any apps that maybe we didn't mention that you can share with us that Sean and I can start using? Because we love traveling. We love traveling in the RV, and we're always looking for new things to try while out and about and exploring. But that's our show. We want to thank you for listening. We absolutely want to thank our sponsors, Battleborn Batteries and Wholesale Warranties. Without their support, this show wouldn't be possible. So be sure to go check out Battleborn Batteries and Wholesale Warranties. And we wish you continued safe travels. But before you go, you know what I'm going to ask. Could you please leave us a rating or a review on your favorite podcast platform? These ratings and reviews really help the show get recognized. It helps get us pushed up to the top, and it helps us gain new listeners and for people to find us. So that is my only request. All right, everybody, take care, safe travels, and we'll be back in about 2 weeks.
Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop in replacement for traditional lead acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com. With the complexity of all the systems in an RV, I always say it's not if something's going to break, but a matter of when is something going to break. That is why I think an extended warranty for RVs is so important. We first interviewed Wholesale Warranties back in 2019 and immediately became impressed with how their policies worked, such as you can take your RV to any licensed repair shop, including mobile repairs. They also have personalized service plans, making sure you are getting the right policy for your needs. And if you think your RV is too old for a policy, You might be surprised to hear that RVs up to 20 years old can still be approved for a policy. That is more age lenient than most RV parks I've stayed at. Go to wholesalewarranties.com/beyond the wheel or click the link down below in our show notes to get your free quote today.